And welcome back, Chapter 6. 10 minutes after she arrived at the church, Jocelyn wanted to throw her clothes in her little cart and leave town. Everyone was so very nice to her, but she could hear the unspoken questions as loud as though they were shouting them. The big one seemed to be, "What are you going to do?" They meant due to their precious house. It was as though they feared a wrecking crew would show up on Monday morning. The little church was packed with every seat filled. When she heard the pastor make a comment about the Lord using whatever he could to get people into church, Jocelyn tried to will her face not to blush, but she couldn't control it. She well knew that so many people had shown up today just to see her. She took a seat in the middle on the left side of the aisle, and when Sarah sat down by her, she nearly hugged her. "Don't worry, it will only get worse," Sarah said when the sixth couple walked down the aisle and stared at Jocelyn. "Don't make me laugh." Josh tried to see if she recognized anyone. The woman from the grocery store waved to Sarah. "Your mother, right?" "Very good. I told her that if she sat down by you and asked you what you thought of organic produce, I'd buy some insecticide and spray something with it." "Your cruelty amazes me." When Jocelyn saw another woman she recognized, she leaned closer to Sarah. "I saw her on the porch with a broom." "She's Luke's mother, and she fixed your bedroom for you." "I thought Ramsey did it," Josh said. "I even thanked him for it." "He didn't take credit, did he?" Sarah asked sharply. "No, he was honest. He said he thought the ladies from church did it. I'll have to thank her." "And Luke?" "He carried the bed and the mattress upstairs, and he helped arrange everything." Jocelyn wasn't sure how she felt knowing that Luke had been the one to prepare her bed for her. "I can't tell if Luke likes me or hates me, or if he's just using me to play some game with Ramsey." "Probably all of them," Sarah said as she nodded toward people filing into the church. "I know he's worried that you'll not care about the house. Your house means a lot to the town. People kind of think of it as their own, and they're worried what you'll do with it." "Sell it for bricks, you mean?" "You do know that you can't really do that, don't you? Even if you sell it, you have to offer it first to the National Register of Historic Places." Jocelyn wanted to make a sarcastic remark to that, but she didn't. None of these people knew her, but she reassured herself that Miss Eddy had known her well, and that's why she left the house to Jocelyn. She decided to change the subject. "Is Tess here?" "Tess in church?" Sarah gave a little laugh. "The roof would probably fly off the building." "I don't know if I want to meet her or not. She can be acerbic. I think that might be the word. A pure bitch," Jocelyn said, then lowered her voice. "I think I may have just talked my way out of heaven." "You were talking about hunting dogs, weren't you?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide in innocence, making Josh smile. The music was starting and she picked up her hymnal. Ramsey slid into the pew beside Jocelyn. "Sorry, I was almost late. What page?" Jocelyn showed him and expected him to get his own, but he took one side of hers and shared. His voice was nice from the way he sang. He knew the words well. "Get your work done?" she whispered when they sat back down. "Most of it." "Tess help you?" she asked as though it were an unimportant question. "Not with the work. I talked to her about you." With that disarming statement, he turned his attention to the pastor. After the service, Jocelyn was separated from Sarah and Ramsey and pulled into a sea of people who all had something to say to her. She received many invitations to dinners and barbecues and to join clubs and to just visit. She was caught on the church steps by 3 women from Colonial Williamsburg who were talking to her about joining some committees for historical preservation when Sarah whispered, "Give me your purse." Joss kept her face on the women while slipping her small handbag to Sarah. Minutes later, she looked up and Sarah was in Joss' car, the passenger door open and waving to her. "I'm sorry, but I have to go," Jocelyn said, It's important, or I stay longer. Let us give you our cars and you can call us, one woman said. Josh took the 3 cars and then hurried across the sidewalk and the lawn to get to the car. Shut the door, quick, Sarah said as she skidded out of the parking lot in a hail of gravel. We're going to pave next month, she said. Peeling out won't be nearly as satisfying. Josh took off her hat as she pulled bobby pins from her hair and let it hang down about her neck. That was an ordeal. Animals in the zoos aren't stared at as much as I was. Mothers have sons, and people need jobs, and charities need volunteers and money. You are open season. No, Josh said, her head back. Tell me this isn't so. Yep, it is. You hungry? Yes, Josh said. Can we go to the grocery store and get something? I have nothing in my house to eat. I don't even have a skillet to cook it in. I don't think that food will be a problem, at least not for a few days. What do you mean? You'll see, Sarah said cryptically as she pulled into the drive in front of Adeline's manor. Uh-oh. What? It's Tess. They woke her up. Standing in the driveway was the gorgeous Tess, and the phone photo hadn't done her justice. She was tall and beautiful, and right now she looked angry. Sarah parked Josh's car and got out. How bad was it? She asked Tess. What time did she leave for church? Tess nodded towards Josh, who still sat in the car. Early, Sarah said without asking Jocelyn. Josh got out of the car and went to stand beside Sarah. Neither woman looked at her. They started coming in at 8, Tess said. They knew that damn door was unlocked, but nothing would do but for them to pound on my door and make me tell them the door was unlocked. After that, I left the main door wide open, but it wasn't enough for them. They still banged on my door. Tess turned to look at Jocelyn. I can't imagine that you're worth all this bother. Her almond eyes were narrowed and her lips curved into a sneer. And you must be Tess, Josh said, forcing a smile. Everyone knows who you are, Tess snapped. Here and in Williamsburg, they know who you are. You're rich and you own a big house. Yeah, I'd say you're the hit of the county. Tess, please, Sarah said, her voice pleading. Please what? Tess asked. Just because she sucked up to some old woman and got her money, does that mean I have to be pulled out of bed on a Sunday morning to get her food? Tess, Sarah said, please be nice. You haven't even met Jocelyn. Tess looked Joss up and down and obviously found her wanting. Now that you're so rich, maybe you can afford to do something with yourself. Hold up, girl. Sarah's eyes widened, but she was silent. Tess' anger-filled remarks seemed to be more than she could handle. Joss gave a little smile. You're beautiful, but I'm nice, and I won the prize. Girl. Say something about what people value, doesn't it? For a moment, both Sarah and Tess stared at her. Is that all you have? Joss asked, her voice calm. Come on, you can do better than that. An old woman left me money in a house, so I must have done something bad to earn it. You can make a lot out of that, or can't you? Sarah looked like she might faint from what she was hearing. Would the women attack each other? Was she going to have to deal with hair pulling and scratching? Tess gave Jocelyn a look of interest. Where'd you learn to give it back like that? I know that's right. Real recognize real. Her sisters are, Sarah began, but Joss put her hand up to stop her. I listened, I learned, Joss said. Then she looked at Sarah, dismissing Tess. What were you talking about when you mentioned food? Everyone in town wanted to welcome you, so they brought food, Sarah said, as though it were a custom everywhere. Aunt Martha, that's Ramsey's mother, told people to stay away yesterday, so they hid this morning, but you weren't here before church. I went, Jocelyn cut herself off. She wasn't going to start the habit of telling people where she was every minute of the day. No, I wasn't here. I left early. So they knocked on my door to ask my permission to enter the big house, Tess said as she looked Jocelyn up and down as though wondering who and what she was. Come on, Sarah said. Let's see what they left you. When Tess stayed in the driveway, Sarah turned to her. You coming? Jocelyn looked at Tess in the sunlight, that fabulous auburn hair glistering, and she was tempted to tell her to stay outside. Tess reminded Josh too much of the world of the steps. Come on, she said. Maybe Sarah and I can do your roots later. Touche. It's natural, Tess said before she thought. So's mine, Josh shot back. Well, mine isn't, Sarah said. If you two are going to get into a cat fight, I need to call some cousins to watch. They'll never forgive me if they missed it. Josh stepped back to let Tess know she was welcome in the house. This woman is going to take some work to like, she thought, looking at Sarah with longing. Why couldn't there have been another Sarah in the other apartment? On second thought, maybe she could find Tess an apartment somewhere else. In a men's locker room, maybe. From the look of her, she'd probably love that. Jocelyn wasn't prepared for what she saw in the kitchen. The table and the countertops were covered with what looked to be 100 containers of food. Sarah opened the refrigerator. Inside were more dishes and foil-wrapped parcels. There were casseroles, chicken prepared in many ways, a ham, baskets full of baked goods, cakes, pies, and a bag of early produce from home gardens. I can't eat all of this, Jocelyn whispered, in awe at the sheer quantity of food. Tess stood to one side and watched the two women circle around the table and countertops. They didn't seem to have even thought of what to do about that much perishable food. The situation reminded her of MAW. Half the time, those men didn't have a clue as to what should be done. But all her life, Tess had had the ability to see what should be done in a situation. The lawyer said she had the true gift, a rare talent. Sarah stopped walking and looked at Tess. What should we do? Jocelyn didn't look up but assumed that because it was her house, the question was for her. I'm going to see Ramsey tomorrow, and maybe if I get some money, I'll go get a freezer. And she broke off when she saw that Sarah was looking at Tess. Jocelyn looked at her too. You have any different ideas? She couldn't keep the hostility out of her voice. Was it always going to be a fight with this woman? My suggestion is that we eat all we want, then we put as much as we can in a car and give it away. You'll have to keep the plates and containers as the women will want them back, but we can give away the food, and I know where to take it. She looked at Joss. If you can bear to part with any of it, that is. Sarah looked at Joss to make a decision. I like it, Joss said. I like the idea very much. As she looked at Sarah, she opened a cabinet where Luke got a plate last night. It was empty. She knew there was a plate in the dishwasher, but they needed more. Do either of you know if I have any plates? Luke's outside. He knows, Tess said. Invite him and have him listen to Ramsey? Jocelyn asked. You catch on fast, Tess said, sounding surprised. I vote that we don't invite anyone. Let's have a feast by ourselves, women only, Sarah said as she opened a cabinet on the far wall and took out 3 plates. There's not much left that Bertram didn't sell. My mother brought a gorgeous set of Wedgwood from him. She'll give it to you when you get married, Tess said. Jocelyn looked at Sarah with interest. And where am I going to find someone? Sarah asked. I never leave this town except to deliver a dress to some woman. They have any sons? Jocelyn asked. Not any that I'd have. Sarah is known around town to be the pickiest woman in the state, Tess said. Look at her. She's a man's dream. Beautiful and virginal? Not hardly, Sarah said. It's the look of the package that matters, Tess said as she heaped a plate full of food. You look innocent, and I look like I've done everything. And everyone, Jocelyn added as she filled her plate. Sorry, I was just agreeing with you. So what about me? I'm not either one of those things. Wife, Tess said. You look like a wife and a mother. So how come you don't have a husband and 3 kids? Tess, Sarah said in warning. I had responsibilities, Joss said as she made a place on the table and sat down. I couldn't go far away from what was going on in my life. The old woman, Tess said. Joss shrugged but said nothing. She didn't want to tell this woman more about her life than she already knew. The 3 of them sat down at the table, the food all around them, and for a while they didn't speak. I hear you bake cupcakes, Tess said in a way that made it sound like an accusation and frivolous. Joss looked at Sarah. Is it me, or is everything she says touched with a nasty edge to it? It's with a nasty edge. It's her, Sarah said, then looked at Tess. Sorry, but it's true. Usually, Tess, you save your hatefulness for the men you work for. So what's made you get it in for Jocelyn? Tess just looked about the kitchen. Sarah said. What does that mean? Joss asked. Did I miss something? You inherited this house. You inherited, what is it, Tess? Millions? I'm not allowed to say. Both women looked at her, not blinking, and waited. Tess shrugged as she bit into a chicken leg. You tell Rams I told you, and I'll burn the house down with you in it. Sounds fair to me, Joss said. The money stays with the house. If you stay here, you control it all. But if you leave, both the house and the money go to some foundation. The great sins, Jocelyn said. If I leave, strangers will come into Edelin. How will the townspeople stand it? They have to have strangers to breed with, Tess said, to give variety to the gene pool. Cut it out, Sarah said. I'll have you know that Edelin is a very nice place to live. It is since they put in the outlet mall in Williamsburg, Tess said. Outlet mall? Joss said. Why did no one tell me that oh so vital piece of information? Because you've spent all your time with the best looking men in this one horse town, Tess said. Meow, Sarah said. You're just jealous because we can have the men here and you can't. They're all your relatives. So what's with you and Ramsey? Joss asked Tess. I saw the photo of you in the red dress. Ooh, she was supposed to bring that up. Tess gave a little smile. That was a day. I was in the best shape of my life, and here was this jerk telling me I was to dress more conservatively. Did he think I didn't know that all those men were watching every step I took? If I started wearing dresses, they'd do the John Candy. Joss looked at her in questions. Drop something on the floor, then look up as they pick it up. I hope you're exaggerating. Joss said surely they wouldn't. Maybe not. But they'd think about it. That was more than I wanted. Okay, so men are men. You certainly showed them, though. Tess shrugged. Maybe. I paid the price by having photos of me posted all over the internet. Ken wanted to put the picture on a brochure about the law office, but his wife wouldn't let him. Where did he get his wife? Joss asked. Massachusetts, Tess said quickly. Mail order. You two are bad, Sarah said. You think you didn't like this town. What do I know? Josh said. I just got here. So far, I've had a lawyer make me a very romantic picnic on the floor, but he left after only an hour and a half. And I have a Shirley gardener who likes to show up and make me feed him. Luke, Sarah and Tess said in unison. What's his problem? Tess and Josh looked at Sarah. Don't look at me. I don't know. Yeah, I grew up with him, sort of, but he's years older than I am, so I never really knew him. Big high school athlete superstars don't pay much attention to little cousins in elementary school. After high school, he left town and she trailed off with a shrug and started a career mowing lawns. He seemed intelligent, so why doesn't he have a proper job? Josh asked. Sarah kept her head down and didn't answer. Why are you just a teaching assistant and now don't even have that job? Tess asked. If Miss Eddie hadn't left you a fortune, where would you be now? Is it really a fortune? Josh asked, avoiding the question. I think that's a good question, Sarah said, looking at Josh. What would you be doing if Miss Eddie hadn't been in your life? I really and truly have no idea, Josh said, and I can tell you that I've given it plenty of thought. What about you, Tess? Sarah asked. You work for MAW, but you can't stand any of them, so what would you like to do? Have an old lady leave me millions? That's not fair, Sarah said. You should. No, let her talk, Jocelyn said. Okay, so if you were left a big old house and a fortune, what would you do all day? Would you become a lady who lunches? Lord, no. That would make me insane. You'd what? Jocelyn asked. I'd like to hear your ideas. I don't know. Start a business of my own, Tess said. What kind of business? Sarah asked. Josh looked at Sarah in speculation. You have something you like to do, don't you? I can hear it in your voice. Tess picked up an olive and sucked out the red center. Have you seen the clothes she designed? You didn't tell me you designed clothes, Josh said, and there was hurt in her voice. Hers hurt so quickly. I've had one conversation with you. I couldn't tell you everything. Exactly, just one. A dress shop would be a business, Josh said thoughtfully. Not a bad idea. What about you, Tess? Don't look at me. I have a creative bone in my body. I'm good with numbers and organizing. You must be good with men, Josh said. That's why so many of them visit you. Do they? Tess asked, as though she never before thought of that. Tess, Sarah said, be fair. Both Ramsey and Luke were in your apartment yesterday. And how would you know that? They told you, didn't they? So what did Ramsey say about me? Tess asked. Nothing. It was Luke who told me. Sarah said. And when did you see him? This morning. He was out here digging. He wants to put in a herb garden, but now he has to get the owner's permission before he can do anything. He told me that too, Tess said. Both women looked at Jocelyn as though expecting an answer. He can put in any kind of garden he wants, Josh said. What does it matter to me? This house is now your responsibility, Tess said. You owe it to the townspeople, to the state, and most of all, to your country to honor its long history and to cherish what it means to the American people. You should. Josh threw a piece of bread at her and they all laughed. That's the end of chapter 6. I love this. I love this book so far because of the back and forth that they have. They real snappy and real quick with it. And I like the way that Jocelyn put Tess in her place to let her know, don't come for me if I ain't sent for you. Tess was like, oh, she can hang with the big dogs. Yes. You don't know her and she don't know you, but you judging her just like that because you not the it girl in town no more. Or you ain't the apple of all the men's eyes no more. It's her. She's the newcomer. Girl. But what really is the deep issue with Tess? Is it she want Ramsey? Or do she want Luke? I know I might be going too far with the Luke part, but so far it seemed like she want Ramsey. And the fact that, well, see, they both got a similar background, kind of, sort of, right? But anyway, I like this chapter. It was really, really cool. But I'm going to see you in the next chapter. Bye for now.